Dun 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 dun.
Oh, mine was what, a week ago on the 7th of October. Yeah,
that's my parents' anniversary.
7th October.
Yeah.
I've done 7 years now. I might do my math correctly. I hope.
You married for 7 years?
Yeah, if not 8. No, it's 7. Yeah, 7. 2016 to date is
No,
what?
2016 must be 7 because I was
Yeah.
2018 and that's 5.
Yeah.
So
And you guys are sort of like in the same industry, yeah?
no, not really. No.
No? Because I watched the episode you did with your wife, and it seemed like she's also been in the media space like for a really long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she just knows how to talk.
Yeah, she married the right person.
Just knows how to talk.
Knows how to talk.
Yeah, but you've been okay?
I've been well, bruh. Look at you interviewing me now on my podcast.
Oh, you greet people wherever you go. You greet people.
I know.
You greet people.
On this episode, we have Suwilanji
Wait, you've been
Siame
recording all
from
this time?
the Growth Podcast. You may know him from the Growth Podcast or his very famous Facebook page. Every time this guy posts, I'm jealous of your numbers, bruh. Like, are these accumulated from like way back from his NBC days, or every time this guy posts on Facebook, bruh, 10, 20,000 people.
I think you're exaggerating.
How do you get these numbers? I need to learn from you, Master. And
I think you're exaggerating.
okay, let's put a 5 then. Let's put a 5,000 then.
Hey, Yason, how you doing?
Laka, how you doing? Oh, I like your shirt. I like the color.
Thank you. My wife picked it up.
You know why I like the color of your shirt?
Because you're wearing the same shirt.
That's the only reason. You said your wife picked it out?
Yeah, she's the one that got it from me. So
You wouldn't know about that now, would you? Like other people
But
picking stuff for you.
remember I told you I once dated a girlfriend where it got to a point in the relationship where I'd get out of the shower and she would have laid out the clothes that I'm supposed to wear on the bed.
And let me guess, the mere fact that you felt married, you didn't like this girl.
The mere fact that what?
You felt married.
No. I don't want anybody in my house, bro.
Useless, I swear. Anyway, Suwi, what do people call you Suwi or Suwilanji? Like,
I prefer Suwi.
you prefer Suwi, why?
Yeah, Suwi is more friendly.
It sounds
more
feminine
welcoming.
though.
No, for me, it's easier also. For others,
who?
Suwilanji is a mouthful. Yeah, Suwi is easy for me. I feel like we know each other. Suwilanji feels like you're about to send me.
So, dude, I've known you, we've been talking for over 2 years, and now you tell me. Because every time I call you, it's Suwilanji.
I think that's just your preference. For most people, when I'm introducing myself, so
Yeah.
like sometimes at work, even when I'm doing like official work, I say, oh, my name is Suwi. Because I feel Suwi is more relatable. Yeah, it's like K+, Kalinga.
Kalenga is heavy?
Yeah, K+ feels like, they know each other. Oh, he calls him K+.
No, actually it's the other way around. Because he says K+ on radio. People who don't know him personally would say K+. So the ones that would say Kalenga will be people that know him personally.
So for you, which people are which in your life? Those who call you Elson and Farai, what's the difference?
So those that call me Elson don't know me. So I already
They know you from the podcast?
They know me from the podcast.
Yeah.
People that are close to me either call me Juan or Eli.
Or Changamir? Me?
No, see, Changamire.
No, I have to go with Chigerwe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Changamir
yeah.
is from Instagram.
You really have a hold on that Zimbabwean accent with the name, eh?
Yeah, I do.
Because a Zambian would not pronounce it like that.
I'm good with names, bro. Like even South African people, I meet them and I
There's
just
some people
know how
that think
to.
that is Changamaya.
Yeah, I call you that to make fun of you.
Yeah, but there's actually people that believe that's how you pronounce it. So dumb.
Like the
congratulations, by the way, you've been nominated for the Zicom Awards against us.
Yeah, I saw
He's
that.
also been nominated in another. Where's my phone again?
Yeah,
Broadcaster of the
I
year.
saw that when we went to last night. So somebody broadcast of the year.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You and I in the same category though. What are those awards about?
We're in some category for what?
That Man of the Year awards, Broadcast of the Year. There's Chimweka, you, me, and I don't know who else.
I don't know the other person. So they, I attended the ones for last year.
Right.
They're basically awards to celebrate men. Because I think the whole idea for the people that created them is that women, there's a lot of things for women. No, women this, women movement, women network, women what. But they feel in that pushing of the agenda for men, for women, men are sort of like neglected. So let's try and celebrate the men.
So are those different? Because I've seen two kinds of nominations. I saw the one that you're talking about on Mwemantu, and I've seen the other ones where it's like the one that you sent to me. You remember the one that you sent to me?
You know, I just realized one thing.
What is that?
We kept saying we're going to change our clothes for the next episode because we're recording 2 episodes today.
Yeah, I forgot. Actually, I've got my clothes right there. But look, who gives a
guys,
damn?
listen, the clothes we wore in the last episode and the clothes we're wearing in this episode, same because we're recording on the same day.
Yeah.
So don't just start commenting about these guys wear the same
Literally
clothes
10
every day.
minutes apart. So have you seen this?
Yes, those are different awards.
These are different awards.
These are
Different
Zikomo.
awards. Those are Zikomo awards. Those are Man of the Year awards. You know, the thing you mentioned about wearing the same clothes.
Yeah.
There's a story I saw of a man that was a newscaster. So you know how, like now ZNBC do to people reading the news, right? So there's this man who had a show with a woman.
I haven't watched that NBC in like 10 years, bro.
Yeah, they do. So he used to do a program, like a news program, current affairs program with this woman. And they do it every day. And this guy wore the same suit the whole year. Okay? On the last day of the year, he said, I've been wearing the same suit the whole year. None of you noticed. Had it been the woman
who
was wearing the same outfit
clothes
every day,
you
know what would have happened.
Yeah.
So men can get away with wearing the same clothes.
Oh yeah, we can. Look at Mark Zuckerberg.
Exactly.
Great t-shirt all day, every day.
Steve Jobs.
I would swear Trump was wearing the same suit
and the red tie.
And
that is so true.
Yeah, but let it be the first lady doing that. And you see how the uproar just,
But why do you think that is though?
I don't know. I feel like women have this pressure to always show up differently to what.
And it's not the women that notice that feel the need.
So you won't even notice. It's like when you go to a wedding with your wife, right? And then I come and say, guys, how was the wedding? You say, it was okay. Your wife will say, hey, it's the dress, the cake, the finer details. So women pay attention to that. Men is just, it was okay.
This is how men are caught cheating by women.
They pay attention to detail.
Because women pay attention to that.
Like any change in your behavior and your wife will know you're seeing someone else.
I can't relate. I can't relate.
We're just saying generally. Generally.
Yeah, no, I feel like I said, the wire to the finer detail. So even, for example, things to do with school, a kid is going to school, the mother will be more, this is not there, this is this. For you, it's just, the info from the kid looks okay, kid will go to school.
Yeah.
Then you realize, the bag is in the car.
Dude, if you just change the way you smell, like if you just leave the house with just the deodorant and you start leaving the house with the perfume now, your wife starts suspecting something. If you change the time you come, you always come at 19, start coming at 19:30.
Which come?
Oh, my apologies for not specifying.
If you
come home or arrive home at a different time than you usually do,
right, she's going to pick that up.
She's going to pick that up.
If you always used to call your wife 10 times a day, now suddenly you're calling 5.
She's going to pick it up.
So basically,
but you see why they pick it up? Because there's a lack of communication there.
No,
I don't think it's
and they're very good.
So, for example, you change jobs, for example, or you start a new project or a business, right? Your lifestyle obviously will change.
Right.
And that because, she knows that's happening. But you get a new deal, a new gig you're pushing for, you're supplying something, and you haven't told her. Then the moment you come midnight because you're at Kasumbalisa and whatnot and whatever. So I feel like it's a lack of communication, really. If you don't communicate, because even you, all of a sudden your wife comes at 21 hours. I say, sorry, I'm late. And that's it.
But do you think there's also something like over-communicating?
No, there's nothing like over-communicating.
You don't think so?
No, there's nothing like over. To be honest, others feel like it's like. Look, I had a conversation with Pastor Gladys Paswani, and she said, for
with
a doctor, Pastor Gladys Paswani, and she said, for a doctor, when you're not feeling well, right? Do you feel like I should tell her this, I shouldn't tell the doctor, this, the doctor? You say everything because you want to get better, right?
Right.
You say even things which you'd never tell your friend, but with the doctor, you're very comfortable because you know that is what they need to make you feel better. So even for you, if you're in a marriage or relationship and you feel like this I can't tell, even for you, I feel like it's a red flag. Over communicating is good because also, why would you want to hide something?
But don't you feel, because again, individuals are exactly that, individuals. And if you have a person that you know who is easily triggered or who suffers from anxiety, certain information, especially that you feel would send them into a tailspin, would actually do a lot more damage than good. So
sometimes I think it depends. The kind of information you give to like a life partner, like a husband or wife, and a girlfriend or boyfriend, I feel like even you should use your judgment to say this I can, this I can't. Because to be honest, if you pour out everything to this person, you over communicate. Next person, again, if you date 5 people, it's like the whole world knows your life. You get the point, right? But if you are my wife, I mean, I should know you better for me to say, you know what, I think this should respond like this. But then also sometimes it's not about over communicating, it's about timing. Sometimes you're giving the right information at the wrong time.
That's my point.
So unless you tell me that you don't tell the person now, but you plan to tell them. It's different from hiding the information altogether.
Yeah, once again, so now that's what we're saying, that to you, again, hiding and timing has to do with either, number one, the person you're telling and how they receive it. Because if they find out before you tell them because of the timing, they're going to misconstrue that as hiding it, no?
They may misconstrue it as hiding because sometimes you feel like it's not the right time to tell them, then somehow they know.
Yeah, right.
Okay? So then it becomes a bit difficult for you to justify why you didn't tell them in the first place. You get my point, right? So now that is the conundrum you find yourself in, because anything you say is an excuse. Really. That's what I'm saying. It just depends. Some things, I don't know. I feel like it's also how you know your person.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's about how you know your person. So you know what? Okay, given the way things are happening right now may not be the best time to tell this person.
How long have you been married now?
5 years on Friday.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wait, Friday tomorrow? Or next week?
No, tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Sorry, the holiday messed me up. Tomorrow is Friday.
Your wife should not watch this.
No,
like we said, women in detail is a small thing. He forgot our anniversary.
No. For me, my wife is actually different. The opposite is the case. I think I know more than she does. Dates, my wife sometimes can forget.
Serious.
Yeah, I know she'll feel bad for exposing her, but anyway, like it's
the truth be told.
Yeah,
truth be told, dude. How does it feel to be in the other seat?
To be here?
Yeah. I mean, with your podcast, you're the one always.
Do you really? Because you had reservations when I spoke to you about this.
Yeah, so look, well, so far the conversation is going well, apart from that one moment. But
which one moment?
The one moment with the wordplay that he did. Right. But no, so far it's okay. The reservations are because it's unpredictable. But you see how you guys put that 18 on your podcast, like on the top right?
Yeah.
I'm hoping the 18 won't be there because this will be a very clean conversation.
So
good luck, guys.
So
good luck.
A couple of things.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to have you on the podcast. And I was deliberate. I spoke to you before I even spoke to Kalenga. So I do watch your podcast a lot. We might have the same guest, but we've got different ways of approaching whatever issues and having different conversations. You sort of, in my opinion, represent a certain demographic of people that either don't agree with a lot of the way that we either conduct the podcast. Scrap that. Let me ask you a different question. What's your thought about our podcast?
My and we've had conversations about this. There was one time someone sent me,
very honest.
Someone sent me they were talking about you on the podcast. Go and watch in that minute. For me, really, I feel like you can sell one product, right? The same product, to different customers. Your podcast has a different demographic to mine. We may have some mutual viewers, but for the most part, I think it's a bit different. There was one time I was with someone and they said, for anything in the world, someone will buy.
True.
Anything. The same thing you're saying, someone will pay top dollar for that.
Yeah.
So for me, I feel like your podcast is sort of for those that are very liberal, very open-minded, and not that mine are more reserved and whatnot, but I feel like for you guys also, that is the kind of thing that you've created.
Yeah.
And so you have these people
Lifestyle
that
and
warm up to you.
Yeah.
Yes, because for me, when I'll give you an example. You guys are in Dinner Mind. I watched that episode. Very interesting.
Which episode?
Ndinema,
right.
comedian, yeah.
Oh, you had him as well, like a month before us,
Yeah, even more, I think. Yeah. So if you watch the podcast I did with him and the one that you guys did, you'd feel it's two totally different people.
Right.
And I feel like it's the questions that really draw out the kind of person you want. You get the point, right?
Yeah, true.
So I can have him on my podcast and I would draw and learn from his business acumen.
Right.
And you see like, is this Elson I know? He's different, right? He's pretending.
He's not talking about
Oh, no, you can't say that, man. I hope you guys cut that out. So the way he is, I'll draw out a different person depending on the questions I ask. You get a point, right? So every person has different characters. Others want to be branded a certain way, so they feel like they'll come to my podcast. Others will feel like, okay, I need this particular audience that... So, for example, someone who's trying to sell an event, for example, in music and whatnot, they feel like they'll connect more with your audience because you can talk about music and whatnot, and their private life and whatnot, and, oh, this album, what was the thought process going through it? And so a whole lot of that really is what they speak to. But generally, your podcast feeds to those people. And also, it's one of those things that really open up artists in a way that I may not be able to. And that's why sometimes you find that some people that you invite will shy away because they feel like there's certain things they don't want to talk about.
Yeah, and they'll come to you. Like Your Maps. Your Maps came to you, refused with us.
Yomas has not refused us.
Well, then he did. The time he went to his podcast, he did.
When was that?
That was like early this year, right? Before the fill-up
I feel like that was like a week before the
fill-up
Stadium event.
Several times I've met this guy. He says, he actually told me the dates.
I called them that week of the podcast. I spoke to Mocha. I
They
spoke to
probably
Switcher.
just don't like you.
No, it's not that. They said, look, guys, no, they didn't quite say. The people who were with him that day said, but we'll try. And then the following day, he was on your podcast. Yeah, I remember that much.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say he was running away from anything. Okay, look, so not that they run from and run to, but for me, really, I don't tell them, no, don't go to the podcast, come to mine. No, it's really around what are they trying to sell or brand as.
Yeah.
You get the point, right? But then also, I never ask the kind of questions you guys ask. Like, I'm very... I don't know, you guys, when you have your podcast and you have this very difficult... Then when you're done recording, like, what do you guys talk about? Like, does a person start complaining about, no, that question, I didn't like that.
You say what? When we speak to them?
No?
Yeah, like when you're done with the podcast, for example, and maybe they ask them certain questions that they were not comfortable with.
Have you heard anybody who's been on the podcast that came back and said they didn't like the podcast?
No. I'm saying when you guys are done recording, like you're done now, right? So like right now we're recording. Obviously, if you're not happy with your questions or if your guest is not happy with the questions you ask them, they won't start complaining here. But when it's done, like, oh, we're done, and shut it down. And then the cameras go off. Like, do they complain then? That's my
Like, do
point.
they start asking, please remove this, please
We've
remove
only had 2 guests that have asked us to chop out certain aspects.
Yeah.
Not because the question was wrong, but because their answer was going to implicate them in different things.
Yeah, they could lose brand sponsorship or their fans will look at them in a different light after that.
You get what I mean? So, and I've always felt like there's nothing wrong with the question, it's how you respond to it.
Okay.
Do you have
but
that,
then
though?
also there's some people, look, I feel like people are different in terms of their ability to have a conversation. So others are very think on my feet. I can give an answer right now that I won't have to ask you to edit or whatnot.
Right.
Okay. But then others in the moment, they feel like this answer is okay. But then when they think about it, they go like, no. So that's why others are not that strong or able to really think on their feet. And so those ones feel like, I know what, no. And those are ones that tell, no, I want this question, anything you ask away from this, they're not comfortable, and you see them, begin to hold back and stuff.
And then we've got guests like Iris, who asks for questions, send me a list of questions before
and adds on questions.
She even adds her own questions. Then we come and ask her those questions. She says, but why are you asking me those questions? We've got very funny guests, man.
No, I think people are just different. And then also, I feel like our market or our country sometimes is not ready for some kinds of conversations.
Right. And I'm happy you brought that up, because with profanity, you seem to be a person that sort of shies away with it. And more to the point that you've just made, that our market or country is not ready for certain conversations, is my experience. Are you recording there, Kalenga?
Yeah, we started like 20 minutes ago.
No, that's fine. You know why I'm asking you that.
Do you have these experiences as well? You started recording and then you find you haven't been recording. Has that ever happened to you?
There was one time, but that was like 5 minutes in.
Yeah.
Something. So
A whole episode of this nigga here.
No, come on.
Oh, you guys had a whole episode that didn't.
Dude, not you guys, him.
We are a team.
So,
Anyway, you're asking.
There's some hypocrisy, in my opinion, where when it's in public, people sort of tend to want to uphold a certain image. Why do you ask a question like this, or why do you frame it like that? The minute that it could be a whole bunch of people, it could be 30 people, but for as long as the cameras are not on, the exact same language is coming out of your mouth, the exact same thoughts and ideas. And so it feels as though, depending on who's watching, you act a certain way. When we started this, I felt our podcast, and possibly yours, has sort of brought about a different kind of standard. You'd have people say, no, but Elson, why are you going and talking to a guest wearing flip-flops? Where have you seen people doing that? No, Kalenga, why are you drinking? Where have you seen people doing that? Because all they have known...
why are you smoking shisha?
Right, because all they have known is the ZMBC type of setup. Right, and so when you bring something different, it doesn't fit into the box.
First of all, do you guys have a problem with ZMBC? Because you've already mentioned it twice.
No, because it's boring as shit.
The language, gentlemen, the language. Look, for me, human beings we want to be accepted. Okay? You want to be accepted. And depending on who I am with, I am a particular person. And that's the truth with everyone. Okay? Everyone. Depending on who you see a different side of me depending on how I relate to you. Mm-hmm. You get the point, right? Mm-hmm. I may have my own opinions, for example, about politics and whatnot. I can't share them with everyone. You get the point, right?
You need to meet the right people.
Exactly. My friends who understand and I'll share those opinions with them. There are people who at work, they are known to be this person. Mm. At church, they're known to be this person. At home, they're known to be this person. When they're at school, they're known to be this particular person. So I don't want to crisscross audiences where when I'm at church and I'm this particular person and you go, this guy, how dare you? This one, him. No. Why? Because I'm portraying a certain character, because at that particular point when I'm in that environment, there are benefits that accrue based on this facade that I have. And I don't want you to mess them up with you coming with this view of me that you have. Mm. So for example, the kind of person I am when I am at work must fit that particular environment. You get the point, right? Mm. Because there are people who are very religious, but they don't know that at work. Because they feel like, you're not church, so you can't send him out for a trip over the weekend, for example, because not church maning. Or so because of how they see you as, they either throw opportunities at you or they take them away. Mm. So people also want to behave in a certain way because they know that for me to get the benefits, I must fit in here. Okay? So even people who go and drink, the people who drink, you can never tell they drink.
True. Suwilanji, how much of what you have just said then changes who you are to fit into a certain environment?
Mold.
Right?
Yeah.
As you were talking, I was thinking of religion. If you're Muslim and you have to behave a certain way when you are at work, which essentially you would have to change who you are to fit in. The point that I'm trying to draw is there are certain things about you that I feel you made the point that you change who you are depending on who you're talking to. There are certain things that are constant. If you're a kind person, if you're an empathetic person, if you're a funny person, regardless of who you're talking to, whether it's the head of state or it's Kalenga, those things, they exude your kindness, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that stuff you can't really change. So I don't know if I can really agree with you where you then sort of change truly who you are depending on who you're talking to.
Look, so I wasn't referring to me per se, I was referring to human beings in general.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So I'll give you an example. On a platform like this, right? Mm-hmm. You have a very wide audience. Mm. Okay? And the truth is you never know the depth of your audience. Mm-hmm. Okay? And because the person that comes and sits in this chair is not sure who's there, you get the point, right? Mm-hmm. So one, they're careful what they say, they're careful how they say it. If I am kind, to see sure here. You get the point, right? Mm-hmm. But mostly people will judge you based on what you say and how you conduct yourself. The examples you gave, for example, about why you're wearing flip-flops and whatnot. It's because our culture has created a thing where as long as there are cameras, it must be perfect. You get the point, right? As long as the sound being recorded, it must be perfect. And that's why you find when the camera moves, they no, the cameraman, right? Because they're not used to seeing a camera panning left, right, and you get the point. Have you watched 24, the series?
Yeah.
You
Jack
can
Bauer.
be sure that those Jack Bauer camera guys were moving the cameras on their shoulders.
Of course.
You get the point? They're not very stable shots.
It gives it more of an eye view.
Exactly, right?
Viewer eye view kind of.
Yes, but how many movies or series are shot like that?
Or
Very few.
like Breakfast Club podcast, they have a mobile camera. The camera is like, it's not stagnant.
Exactly. How many podcasts are like that?
We tried it once and our viewers complained.
No,
Exactly.
because he didn't know what he was doing.
Well,
No,
he didn't-
He was
he-
terrible.
he- yeah, he was
So
terrible.
why did they complain? Because it goes against the normal that they've accepted.
Right.
You get the point, right?
So more to your point. Sorry to cut you off. I think it was Henry Ford who said, if I had
Horses,
asked...
right?
You say what?
The horses story?
If I had
Yeah.
asked people what they wanted, they would have said, make a faster horse. He did not ask people. He went and invented a car. Because at times people don't know what they want until they see it.
No, he didn't invent the car, bro.
Whatever it is. But you know what I meant.
He mass produced the vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you go and you are to ask people what they want or how to do it, you're going to be stuck with what they are used to. All right. So unless you develop something that you feel works for you, because again, the reason why I got into this is because I felt, I would watch an interview, for example, and I'm yelling at the radio or I'm yelling at the TV where the questions they're asking are these monotonous, boring questions over
Where
and
do you
over
see
again.
yourself in 5 years?
I don't want to know about that. I'm right. That's a boring question, right? So I got into this because the type of conversation, it's not an interview, it's a conversation
Yeah.
that I want to have with you are questions that I want to know. Slowly but surely, that began to gather momentum because there would be people that would also have the exact same question. If we had said, let's go with what the norm is, we were not going to be different, not because we want to be different, to what's already there.
Would have been camouflage.
Right.
Fit in, yeah.
So look, I'll give you an example. These vehicles you see in Zambia on the road, right? The ones from Japan. The Mark X, what model is it? There's a 2010 Mark X, right? 2011, right?
Yeah, 2006, yeah.
The IST is like 2000. But
7,
when
8.
did they come to Zambia?
This year.
This year, later on, right?
Yeah.
Because one person bought an IST.
And everybody saw it and said,
And everyone
wow.
saw it and then started buying, right? And one person bought a Mark X and that car, and everyone started buying. But all these things happen because one person chose to go this direction.
True.
Okay? And then others begin to, in the beginning, people naturally oppose change.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's natural. They oppose change. If you leave the two of you and the person comes and now you're the three of you, in the beginning, it will be very uncomfortable because I'm used to just it being the two of us.
Right.
You get the point, right? So it's the same with anything, really, even just the content that you do. Because look, why is he wearing flip-flops? He's disrespecting his guests. He's not taking this serious. Why is he wearing shorts? You remember Neo when he went to tell us? He's wearing flip-flops. That's what the whole visit was about. You get the point, right? Because we're not used to seeing that. So one person does that. Tomorrow, the other person does it. Tomorrow, it
becomes normal.
It becomes normal, right? Because even what we now accept as normal, one person had to do it differently.
Yep.
You get the point, right?
Yeah.
Podcasts, I don't know, 10 years ago were not a thing, right?
Joe Rogan was the only guy doing podcasts,
Exactly.
to be honest.
Yeah. And people thought, he's not going anywhere, right? Oh, and then now even companies begin to design platforms now
Around.
to now accommodate that.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because one person said, let's go this direction. 2004, I remember when Mark Zuckerberg did Facebook, right? Remember the story how he called some few of his friends, guys, we can do this.
Yeah.
People are like, no. But today, if you tell your friends, guys, I've got an
We've
idea
got
for a social media
MySpace, yeah.
app, right? I've got an idea for a social media app because they've seen the money Facebook has made, the money Twitter and all these social media platforms are making. Now they'll warm up to it because we've seen it working. You get the point, right? But at a time when Mark Zuckerberg was designing Facebook and no one ever saw it, people were skeptical about, don't see the
true.
response.
It was the other way around, actually.
What do you mean?
Sorry?
Like two guys came to Mark.
Yeah, but you called 5 of his friends, I'm told.
Yeah.
So
So,
only 2 showed
Or
up.
the Winklevoss twins.
yeah, the twins.
Yeah, only 2 showed up. So, but why those 2 show up and everyone else didn't show up? It's because it was not familiar.
For the same reason that you've just said. And again, you know the old saying, the first cowboys get the arrows.
Yeah.
So
Because
if
I'll give you an example of podcasting, right? You guys have been doing podcasts for how long? 2 years now?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, 2 years
Approaching
next
2 years.
week.
Yeah.
2 years. Someone who started a podcast today will take long to catch up. True to what he said. That is the guys that start, the first movers, right? But to be honest, people are very scared to be the first ones to be honest, to set a trend. You'd rather follow the trend.
You'd rather
That's
see
why
someone-
in Zambia, it first trends in SA, this dance, and then it comes to here. So you feel like if Karenga starts a dance challenge, no dance, I mean,
Except for the Chimwemwe dance.
yeah, like that. But so for me, really, it's about people being scared of being judged. So I would rather he experiments, he's judged. When they accept it, they not do it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So today, you guys are wearing flip-flops, wearing shorts in the podcast. 10 years from now, let's have a conversation again and see how podcasts are doing.
Probably
in
have
Zambia.
G-strings on the podcast, yeah.
Maybe not
I
that
don't know
far,
about
but
that.
you know.
Sorry? I don't know about that. It's fine.
Have you seen that podcast?
You are bringing your own fetishes here.
Have you seen the We in Miami podcast? That guy, it's him and 9 strippers on the podcast. It's him and 9 other presenters, and they're all just dressed in bikinis or whatever.
There's a podcast I saw where they were dressed normally.
Yeah.
But they're like, I don't know, it's a gentleman and is it like 10 women or something?
Yeah, that's the one. We in Miami. Yeah, We in
but
Miami.
They're dressed normally. And
but
they all have microphones and they're talking and I'm like,
Yeah, it's We in Miami.
this
It's him-
podcast can end without you saying anything.
No, he balances it somehow. He has everyone give their opinion over to whatever topic he brings up. And it's quite interesting.
Yeah,
Because some
because,
days
you know,
they'll be dressed almost naked.
Also, people like things that are different
Yeah.
because I don't know what to expect next.
Yeah.
You get the point,
Even
right?
when they bring a celebrity, all of them get to ask a question each.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting like that.
You have to
Dude,
find the angle.
you mentioned, especially with the coming of podcasting in Zambia, and you've been a person who's been in both industries before. You've done TV, now you're doing podcasting. You know what, before I even ask this question, I would like to find out first let's talk about your history for a little bit. Your TV journey. I know the first time I ever saw you on TV was when you were doing, what was it called? Junior President or something?
Yeah, that was 20... Junior President, yes. So the first time I did television was in 20...
That was Junior President,
10.
right?
No, that was
What was
debate
it?
time. We did a debate program.
Then
debate
Junior
time.
President.
Then we did Junior President.
Right.
Yeah, so 2010, because I finished my secondary school in 2009
Right.
at Kablonga Boys. Mm-hmm. And then 2010, I went to ZNBC and started doing television. My first time
How did you get in though?
Through
Through
faith.
the door.
Obviously through the door, yeah. But so I had an idea for a debate program and then I contacted Faith Musonda then. She was at ZNBC had just launched
Wait
TV2.
a minute.
The same Faith Musonda.
ZNBC had just launched TV2.
Right.
Yeah, so new television station and whatnot. Because and by the time I was going there, you had no idea how many times I was rejected. Not rejected, but just got like no's. So I went to like
From
Movie
who?
TV. I went to Diamond TV.
Right.
That time there were like maybe like 2-3 TV stations on Findeco House. All of them. It says that now we have something similar, or we're working on something.
What were you pitching then?
The same program for the debate.
The debate thing.
Yeah. So that's when I went to ZNBC. Faith said, "Oh, okay, we'll look at it," because she was a producer then. And then later on, like, oh yeah, we can make it work. Let's do this, let's do that. Found a sponsor.
Zamtel sponsored it, right?
No. That was Rosias with Greatness Road, Dr. Setamba.
Right.
So that's when we did we did a whole competition, and our grand prize was a laptop. Those days. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, for kids, that's a big thing, man.
Yeah. That was then 2010, and yeah, the rest was is history. But coming back to your question about doing both, right? So you see how he judged traditional media off of the fact that it's boring. I see it.
What did I judge?
Traditional media, like ZNBC, like you
You said
mentioned.
ZNBC is boring, yeah.
Like no, he didn't say ZNBC. He said like when you're watching home, watching TV, and
Traditional.
these questions and the interviews and whatnot. Like feel like they're boring. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So for me, really, it was about. So you see how you guys can have a podcast for 2 hours, right? This can't happen on television in
there's a-
Zambia. So
Yeah,
the most
yeah.
is what 45 minutes.
Most.
The most,
Unless they reverse, you can push it to an hour.
And that is not a conversation about one's life. It's about a subject matter. It's about we brought the Minister of Finance
Sunday
and
interview,
we're
yeah.
discussing the national budget.
Yeah.
It's about, okay, the cost of living has gone up and how do you mitigate that and how do you cushion people? Those kinds of conversations. I can bet you dollars to donuts, you will not watch any TV station in Zambia do an interview for 2 hours about someone's life. No. So for me, really, it was about having more in-depth conversations, but then also still being a bit more social. So you see what happened here? Traditional media would cut. And then
Edit
you
that
ask
out
the question again.
because my phone rang.
Yeah, ask the question because it's built on perfection.
Yeah.
You see how those guys in the BBC panic when the phone rings?
the only person I've ever seen answer a phone during an interview, Mulio Keller.
Yeah, I'll call you back. I am on the TV.
Was he a guest then?
He killed me, man. The time I was studying for president and the phone rang. Dude,
Was he the guest or?
he was,
He
a
was a
guest.
guest.
Oh, okay.
His phone rang and he went full conversation on the phone.
Yeah.
But anyway,
now you see why that's trended. Because
Yeah,
it's
it
unusual.
never happened before.
Yeah, it's unusual.
Sad what's happened to that man.
Yeah, it's unusual.
So sad.
So that's really how it is. So for me, really, it's about having those different conversations and also creating something I can control. The ecosystem around a television program is you have a producer, you report to someone. Sometimes it's, okay, this is a guest I want to bring, and you have to justify, why are you bringing this person?
Right.
And to justify, and it fails or whatnot, and it doesn't go through. So, and then also, most people, you can interview someone, like I said, but it's tied to a topic. And sometimes it's really like laborious.
It limits
for people
you,
who watch. Yeah, who watch. Yeah,
Limits
you
you.
know.
My question actually was, you've done both. You've been on both platforms, podcasting and you've been on TV. Do you feel TV is dying? Like traditional media, do you feel like it's...
Is traditional media dying? Yes, it is dying.
What's giving you that feeling
give it
personally?
Like 10 years.
Yeah.
Because now people have options.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
People want on-demand content.
Exactly. So now you have, for example, kids who would rather watch cartoons on YouTube
Then
or Netflix than on traditional
Nickelodeon.
TV. I'm not going to mention the brand, but than on
Yeah,
TV
I know
and
what
changing and waiting for 17 hours. Remember those days when growing up?
You had to wait
Bob
for
Moran in 17 hours, so you have to wait. But now,
On demand.
the kid wants, I want to watch
Cocomelon now.
Cocomelon now. You get the point, right? Oh, it's end next episode. You get the point, right? So
Sorry.
for me, that is what's killing traditional media. People have choice. And now really we're going towards a society where your internet is more affordable, people have got access to those days, even just downloading 10 MB, those days, the
dude,
Motorola
I
days,
remember, yeah.
was too much. You get the point? There are people who would never watch a live video on Facebook in the early days, 5-6 years ago. Live video. No, people don't even go live because you don't know how to watch. You start playing a video first, the first thing you see is how long is it? You get the
Then
point,
you check
right?
your bundles balance.
Exactly. Then you
come
say,
back.
no, this is not. But now people can stream live. Oh, I've got unlimited. I've got what. And then also people have got more disposable income. So some people can afford to pay unlimited internet for a month. And they don't care how the kids watch or how people. So that is giving people options. And then also now you've got podcasts, for example, radio. I feel for radio, man. Radio, maybe because but even then, there are, like for me, I hardly listen to the radio when I'm
Me too.
on the road.
Yeah, but
I'd rather play a podcast or I'd rather play a YouTube video or something and I'm listening to, because I feel like, a thing where you can dictate based on your mood the kind of thing you want to listen to.
Exactly.
But if you're listening to a radio station, it's based on how the guy on air feels. If he feels
The
like
last time
playing
I
this
listened to
song-
the radio, my phone had died. And I had
no choice.
I promise I had no
You're gonna play
choice.
Bluetooth in the car, yeah.
Sheesh, man.
Yeah, so that's for me.
Sad for
It's
you,
really
bro.
going. It's like this. So it's just for me.
I'd like-
and those days where now some television stations would have
Yeah.
monopoly are gone, because now, for example, you've got like DSTV that's everywhere. You get the point, right? It's just radio stations who are limited. But even with radio stations, again, there are apps. So I can still listen to the radio even in places where they are not there with their frequency.
But it's sad that advertisers are not seeing that the tide has changed. You know what I
Eventually
mean?
they will.
No, but
Eventually
you must
they
ask
will, eh?
yourself, how old are the decision makers?
That's the thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And again,
Because
just like,
all our advertisers are young guys on this podcast, to be honest.
and just like, Steve Jobs said,
My wife was telling me the Big Brother in Nigeria. Those guys brought to you by. Told me those like SMEs.
yeah, there you go.
The SMEs.
They
Small
say
companies.
death is the best invention of life. Because
The Stanford
essentially-
speech, yeah.
You say what? Yeah. Because essentially the old generation with their old way of thinking are dying off, which is giving way to new generation, fresh blood, fresh ideas. And eventually you're going to get to a point where every single thing, look at more to the point that you've made. Look at the companies that I would say the top 3 or 4 biggest revenue pulling companies that are in the world. A lot of them are tech. A lot of them, if not all of them, are all not older than 20, 25 years. Your Anglo-American, these companies that have been there for such a long time, pale in comparison to Apple, which is the highest grossing company. So it's a matter of time, I guess.
For me, I feel like it's that thing where someone has to see it and then begin to take the unpopular decision. Because like I said, remember, if I have an advertising budget and then I go to my board or my senior management and say, all of this money is going to Facebook, to YouTube, we're finding influencers, that's where the money is going. You think that will be approved?
They'll
Right
still
now?
go for the conventional.
They want the paper.
Yeah.
Okay, they want because also for them, it's about our target audience as a brand organization. What are they doing? You know, they're in the paper, they're in the what, they're in the what. But the ones that are younger now, the younger decision makers understand that, look, the thing I've come to learn very honestly is, don't be deceived, Facebook is not for young people. I have seen old people on Facebook.
My mom is on Facebook.
Exactly, you get the point, right?
She's 70.
So
When you say it's not for young people, what do you mean?
What do you mean? What did I say?
You said Facebook is not for young
No,
people.
I said Facebook is not only.
Or only, okay,
Yes,
cool.
so there are some people who
That
feel
makes
like
sense. Yeah, of
if
course.
you say let's go and spend money on Facebook,
Fiaba ichefe.
you get the point. Fiaba iche. Yeah, so no, we're not speaking to the. But the truth is, when something trends, really,
Everybody
these guys
knows.
who share in WhatsApp groups, because WhatsApp groups now, maybe they're older people in those work groups because they're there, right? But the ones that get it and put in the WhatsApp group, where they get it from? It's Facebook. So those are the ones that are there. But I have a question for you guys. Don't you sometimes feel scared that you may lose potential advertisers?
That's happened a lot of times. And one thing that I have kind of like been deliberate about is, that's a question that I was going to ask you as well, is advertisers that come and dictate terms of what you can or can't do.
Okay.
So I've got a lot of thoughts. Earlier, Culling and I were speaking about artists. They stop being creative once they get signed to big record labels. Is because you now have people that come in and they try to change the way dictate. So we've had two kinds of advertisers. We've had three. We've had one that says, I'm not going to advertise with you. This guy swears a lot. Thanks, bye. We've had the second that say, we'll advertise with you on condition
That you remove this, add this, remove this, add this.
right, which is similar to what you did with Zamtel. Then we've got the third that say, guys, here's a blank check, go to town.
Feel free.
Those are the ones that have gotten the biggest response. We've got a young guy that owns Right Price.
I was about to ask you, how old is that person?
He's 20.
He's called us and he said, literally, I'm inundated.
I've run out of stock.
I've run out of stock.
Because you
Yes,
guys spoke about
but
this
you
on your
see,
podcast.
That's the owner of the company, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
At
We've
where?
got an employee, doesn't own the company. Betway. So not Betway. BetLion.
BetLion, yeah.
Same thing. He's got people that he answers to.
But he just
So we've
told them.
had people that are bold, people that say, look, go ahead, because we came to you because of the traffic that you guys have, because of 1, 2, 3. So if we're going to come to you and begin to change certain things, we're going to alienate the people that obviously you're speaking to.
I agree with you on that last point because I'll give you an example. For my Facebook, right? I get a lot of people knocking advertising on your page. If you go to my Facebook page, you will not see an advert. It's because I don't believe in just getting something and just pasting it there. It must be organic to who I am.
Right.
The person that follows me as Suwilanji follows me for something, right? So I cannot just advertise something alien and there's no connection whatsoever.
Like we can't bring whiskey to your page.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
whatever it is that I speak for, I must be aligned in some way. You get the point, right? It must sort of tie into me. It makes no sense that I don't drink alcohol and I'm an alcohol ambassador. It takes away from the brand to now focus on why is he, but that guy doesn't drink. And even for you as a person paying, you feel like this is taking away from what we want the message to be.
That is so true.
You get the point, right? What we want is people should be asking, where can I find this brand? Or where can I like that? Than, why are you using that one? Because there's a disconnect.
I mean, I think that's why we're so passionate about advertising for Right Price, because almost
Yeah.
most of the gadgets we use, we buy from there.
Exactly,
You've
right?
never seen-
and the last thing a brand wants is a guy that pretends to like it because
There you go.
if
Because
it's
of the
plastic,
money.
it will show.
There is, yeah.
You get the point,
It will
right?
show.
And even I know that guy doesn't even like that. You
Yeah.
can tell it's not really, yeah. But for you guys, even before you guys are a sponsor, you had a MacBook. He's MacBook, the old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, is this still there?
It's a right price now.
Yeah, you see,
they took it away from me.
you see, but so because they saw that, okay, this guy seems to like this particular brand of laptop, so let's now take advantage of that and also then bring ourselves in. Okay, they've seen you live it. It's like people, for example, who use a particular product, for example, skincare, right? We've seen you're so big on makeup and whatnot. Oh, we've brought our brand of makeup. Want you to be using it. Even for my audience, it's not like, why is she using that brand? Because it's something that I've accepted. It's my lifestyle. It just like, it's sort of like fits properly in it. It's not like I have to now force it. Now you can tell when you're forcing things. Now, the whole podcast has gone. No cursing. What's happening? So people are shocked. They feel like, I didn't follow you for this. Can I see the brand I follow? You get the point, right? So it's like tomorrow you guys open the podcast with a prayer. You get the point, right?
And Nelson praise.
Yeah, you get the point. Huh? Like what's
And we
happening
don't
here?
burst in flames.
you get the
Now I
point,
hear
right?
you. Just like say,
That's a good one, bro. That's a good one.
It's not original. You're like, no, guys, this is not we don't know you like that. You get the point, right? We don't know you like that. So for me, really, it's about consistency. Then the company says, based on how these guys are doing their podcast, how do we then fit in? For me, those are the kinds of partnerships that are seamless, and they even for you, it's easy for you to speak about it and what because you feel like there's no change. You really haven't.
You're just being you.
Bend over backward for you to accommodate that brand.
Right.
How's your podcast doing with advertisers though?
It's okay. So I have an insurance company that we have on board. There's a bank that I'm talking to. I think they launched something. So I think November, December, there's something we're doing with them. So yeah, it's going on well. And we obviously are open to more opportunities. There are some brands I can never take on, no matter how much money they give.
like what?
Like betting. Yeah, like betting alcohol, because I don't drink. I don't bet. So there's one time someone said, no, we see you post about football a lot. I post about football a lot on my personal. Yeah, yeah. So they want to, but I don't drink. You get the point. What am I going to say? Even people know me go like, this guy is just being paid.
Yeah, just chewing
and the moment people say it's just being paid, they know it's not, generic. And that's why no one opens sponsored posts. You know that, right?
Yeah.
The sponsored posts.
I was looking at
We spoke about this, Kalenga.
Yeah.
Like, I gave Mwizukanji as an example. Mwizukanji could speak about burping and it gets 10,000 likes. The minute she speaks about a product and it's sponsored, those
200.
likes, they drop.
I noticed that with Marketu last week when he wore a Bet Winner t-shirt. You saw that? Yeah, Bet Winner t-shirt. 200 likes, bro. You never see Marketu with 200 likes.
You know
then
why?
the next post, I think he was heading to the Neo thing in a suit. Over 10,000 likes.
That is him, right? Yeah. And the same applies to even these big pages. Go to Mwebantu, go to whatever. The moment they know paid partnership with what and what,
The engagement drops.
it goes down. But really, it's something you really have to understand, because you find pages like Mwebantu or Your Maps have got over 1 million more. I think it's almost 1.7 million. Tell me a time you saw 100,000 people react to a post.
Yeah, that's funny, man.
So where do the people go?
Yeah.
Really? Because if I post something and about 1.7 million people,
I should have over 10 million
And you're
people.
getting
My
only
followers
1,000
and
likes.
others.
and others, get a point. Because there's also suggested for you. You see that,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So where is everyone? Where does everyone go? For me, really, that is now the
No,
science
but then
that
again,
social media must
the
figure out.
algorithm. I listened to a podcast where they explained that. I don't know if you listen to this podcast, stuff you should know.
No.
They were explaining the
I know.
algorithm as, anyway. They were explaining how no matter how many followers you have, how much traffic is the algorithm bringing to you at that particular point, in that day.
But do you know why it's like that? It's
'Cause your followers-
Facebook is a business.
Yeah, and
they
then
want
again,
you to boost the post.
Your followers are not just following you, they're following other people. So it's dividing.
That's true. And the other thing, more to your point, Kalenga, is the point that you've made, that you would have a page with 1.7 million followers, right? But a post is made and they're only getting maybe 1,000 or 2,000. Is there people like me? Doesn't matter how funny or how amazing. I'm never gonna like it. I'm gonna laugh. I'm gonna screenshot it and I'm gonna send it to friends.
But you never like it.
And I never react on that actual post. No, so you'll never see a like of mine on any post.
And have you seen that there are those pages then that show you their back end and show you, reach 33 million people this
I was
week?
about to say the same thing. It has reached
But
me,
where are the 33
but I've not
million people
reacted
in
to
post?
it.
You get the point, right? Where are those 33 million? Because also there are even not just on social media, but even in person, there are some people you see, they don't even say anything. Like, you call story. Oh, yeah, you laugh, but they won't say anything.
Yeah.
And it's like they were never there.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the thing on social media. But really also now, the problem that most businesses have is that they don't have like proper social media managers. People who understand social media. Like the way you guys are, you make a better fit of a social media manager for a business. Because you understand the intricacies of social media. Get the point, right? You know, it's okay, the best time to post is this time. I think this. Do you know that if you post something that has text in it, it gets a lower reach?
They want you to sponsor it, yeah.
Yes, but
No,
then also
text, like photos.
a photo with text.
photo
Yeah, I know.
with
That's what I'm saying.
automatically
Like in the photo itself.
I think the algorithm sort of reads it as
an advert. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They want
No
you to
one posts
sponsor
more
it.
photo with text in it.
Yeah.
So they want you to then boost and then you have more people.
Dude, on the same thing, do you know that even your skin color, picture quality, all those things adds to how many likes you're going to get?
Okay, I didn't
Skin
know that.
color.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. The things that behind the
So
back end.
which skin color gets the most likes?
White.
Sorry?
What skin color?
Gets the most likes.
Dude, I'm sure the guys were trying not to seem racist or anything, but you'll find
But what did
maybe
you
on your
pick up from
timeline
it?
or check Instagram on the discovery thing. You will find certain people dressed a certain way or certain people of a certain color have more numbers than others. Observe that on the discovery for Instagram.
And
so
why
on.
do you think that is?
The algorithm is rigged.
But
It
don't
favors certain people and certain countries as well. You'll find you would have posted the same content as some guy maybe in America. It will favor him, not just because of the numbers in the country, but because of the country he is in. You know what I mean?
So if okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then
It's
I'm
crazy.
here to
It's
figure
crazy.
that one out.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
there's so much in terms of the algorithm.
I see, that's what I'm saying. Social media on its own is a science. You get the point,
It
right?
is.
It's a science on its own. And that's why you need someone dedicated to understanding the numbers, understanding the reach. Some people have got good content, but you post at the wrong time.
Yeah, that's so true. And the other thing as well, speaking more to the algorithm, is though they want to be seen to be doing something about bullying and hate, they actually secretly promote it because that's where most
where the numbers
engagement comes from. So if there's a post that has got hate speech, bullying, etc., yeah, if it's reported and stuff, they'll take it down, but they actually promote that because most of the engagement
numbers,
comes from there.
Yeah, but then also sometimes they don't understand the language. That's why they don't take it down. Dude, so if the bullying is in Tonga, for example, or Bemba or Nyanja, Facebook won't know what they're saying. So just let it be. They think, just being a hater, you just let them be.
Which
Because I mean,
guess
they
is a
only
big part of-
censor the word rape and suicide when it's in English.
But have you noticed now that
noticed
most
that?
people are posting things with characters? So funny ways they'll put like an at for A. Instead of putting A, they'll put like an at.
Yeah.
Instead of putting I, they put an exclamation mark so that the algorithm doesn't flag it because some things are sensitive. So for example, I think there was one time that Muzukanji was posting about when she was helping people with like the sanitary pads. So using the word pads, for example, for them was like, no, you can't. So she put at. You get the point? So the English can't detect that as pads. So because she had mentioned that, guys, I'm being flagged and what, so let me...
It's like on this same episode, because of the two words I said, I'm sure they're going to be censored by YouTube. Which is why a lot of podcasters say the R word or the S word instead of saying rape or suicide. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So they sort of feel like they think the whole podcast was just about that.
Sort of. So I'm sure that YouTube's going to censor the words I just uttered right now.
What you're saying is absolutely true, and this is where I guess, and by the way, it's not people when it comes to Meta and Facebook, it's AI.
Yeah.
That they use this. Recently, I got a contract to create a chatbot.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest headaches that I had is, so the programming and everything, I knocked it out in 2 weeks. But the biggest issue then came when it came to KYC, right? And this is when I then realized the downside of AI. So they tell you the things to submit for KYC. So I submitted those things. But because it wasn't a person on the other side that's reading it, it was AI, half the documents were being rejected. It took me a month for me to actually get to speak to a human, submitted the exact same documents that had been rejected, and it took all of 5 minutes for the guy to go through them, apologized, and the registration was done. So the algorithm and AI, in as great as it is,
The
I
human
feel like
element can't be replaced.
there's an Instagram account that I saw that has only AI generated images. I don't know if you've seen this. When you look at it on the surface, you can't tell that it's AI generated because it looks so real. But when you look close, I don't know if you know this, that the AI that generates humans or people cannot differentiate between a a foot and a hand.
No way.
So when it created a person, the person
Or
had
the
a
hand
hand
on
where
the-
the foot was.
Wow.
It's just seeing 5 fingers or 5.
Toes and fingers look the
Yeah.
same to it, man. Dude, Zamtel. I remember the day you posted your move to Zamtel. It was all over, man. Like a lot of people got excited and stuff. How much of your life has changed with this move? Let's talk about first why the move.
The move is inevitable. I
Yeah.
feel like as human beings,
You're tired of the media space, or
No, not tired.
just
Human
change?
beings, like progress is inevitable,
Yeah.
right? Because even you guys, the podcast grows, right?
Yeah, true.
So the amount of money I'll pay today to advertise on the podcast and the money I'll pay in 5 years is not the
Totally
same, right?
different, yeah.
Same presenters, same hosts,
Same gob.
same, exactly, just different value, right? So for me, really, it's an issue of growth. And then also I wanted to rebrand, sort of, you get the point, right?
Yeah.
I've noticed that in this country, people in the media, we have very talented people in the media. But for some reason, most people in the media are just taken as he's just a reporter. He's
Yeah.
just a...
Yeah, there's no
he's
respect.
Exactly, you get the point,
Yeah.
right? Worse off for those in radio, for example, you get the point. If you go to an event in Zambia, you find there's a table for the media behind, right? If Aman Po or Aaron Hazelhurst came for an event in Zambia, what this is?
At the front with the president.
Why?
The way they've branded CNN.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? So for me, really, it was about progress and moving forward. I am still young. The longer you take in an organization, the harder it is. It's like the longer you sit, right? The harder it is for you to stand. Because now you become too comfortable. You know, you stand, it's just... And then also the adjusting, if you've been in a place for a very long time, is very difficult. So if you've been here 20 years, for you to adjust, you find you go into a new job, 2 years you're adjusting because you've never been anywhere new. So for me, really, that was that. And also, look, I won't always be at Zamtel. You get the point, right? At some point, also, I feel like, okay, at this level,
Yeah, and they
like
do
that.
say the more you move, the higher the chances of getting into a bigger position, right? What's up?
The more you move or the more you change jobs,
Yeah.
the more chances of you making more money.
Yeah, that too. So I mean, you're
if
negotiating
in
a high
job-
deal wherever
exactly,
you're going.
Because if I'm in a job right now at work, I'll just walk up and say, I want a raise. It's not
Yeah,
gonna
but if
work.
somebody's poaching you, they have
But
to
if
offer
they,
you more.
go like, because also I was having a conversation with someone in banks. You cannot say, how much does the CFO at Bank X get? There's no answer for that.
What did he negotiate?
Exactly. You get the point.
You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But most people in Zambia were too humble to negotiate. But then also you find some people don't negotiate because, hey, should be home 2 years, bruh. You get, you
take anything,
You get
yeah,
the point. But that's why it's the person who is in a job is more valuable
Than
than
that one
one
at
who's
home.
not.
Well, why Zamtel?
Why? It's a telecom.
Yeah.
It's a telecom.
Least performing.
It's what?
The list performing. So why Zamtel? Why not MTN? Why not Airtel?
So number one, it's about a Zambian organization. You get the point, right? You guys would rather someone watches your podcast than a podcast in SA, right? Because it's Zambia. You get more views, your ability to make more money.
Not
you get the
really.
point, right?
My mantra is go to what gives you value.
Yes.
Whatever
Now, look,
entertains you.
Let me tell you something, okay? You said not the best performing. Let me give you an example. If you guys have this podcast and everything is perfect, picture perfect, sound perfect, everything is perfect, what value is Sue going to bring to the podcast? Nothing, right? Even if Sue is there, you won't see a difference, right? But yes, I may make or add value elsewhere. But then at that particular point, I want to say, okay, what did I do for my country? You get the point. Like I said, we are not always where we are. Some people leave Zamtel, they go to MTN, others go to Airtel, others leave Airtel, they come to MTN. But for
Yeah,
me, really
like
it's about...
Hazel moved
Yeah,
from
you
MTN
see?
to Zamtel, yeah?
Yeah, so for me, really, it's about time. I didn't go to Zamtel because I just woke up and say, you know what, 1, 2, 3, no. Zamtel advertised and I went there. You get the point, right? So you don't say, why did you... No, that's what the opportunity was. At that particular time. You get the point, right? And my role now is, let me add as much value as I can.
Why do
here.
you think they picked you amongst all the people that applied?
I believe in myself. I did very well in the interview.
Serious, eh?
Have you ever been in an interview and you feel like
I've nailed this?
Like I've nailed it. Or if you're applying to get someone else, you create a position for me. For me, really, that's how I believe. Like if you had someone, yes, you give them, but you call me and say, I know it, but we have this for you. For me, really, it's about how I communicate the value of my qualification. Sometimes you find he has a master's, you have an undergrad, okay?
Right.
But you know how to sell yourself. You know the organization. You have done your research. Because they ask me, what are our values? And how do you feel like you can, fit into these values? So you have a master's, but you don't know the values. You get the point, right? You don't know how the intricacies of, the organization and whatnot. So for me, really, that's what it's about. He does his tech things, right?
Right.
There are people like, maybe let's say him, the only thing he knows is just the actual intricacies. But there are others also who know the environment or the ecosystem around technology. So when he goes to an interview or for a job or for a gig he's pitching, he won't just talk about his abilities, but also he said, okay, look, those guys are doing this. I know you guys may have talked to those guys, but I'll do it like this. Or these are the weaknesses of those guys. He just doesn't understand what he can do or what his mind knows, but he also understands the ecosystem around that. And as he talks, you feel like, okay, this guy, because chances are he won't meet everyone that they're interviewing, right? But from what he says, the people interviewing sort of get like, oh, that guy, that's his weakness. That guy, oh, this guy. So it's not just about the skill or the knowledge. It's about how do you communicate what value you bring. And to be honest, that's what really makes a difference. People with lower qualifications are getting jobs. Why? Not because they know someone with their connections. No, they just know how to communicate the value of what they're
confidence. P1.
What's your position again at Zamtel?
So at the moment, I'm acting manager for corporate affairs and PR.
PR, yeah, that's. So you are the one that sort of interfaces the organization to the rest of the world.
Yes.
Okay. And how's that role been so far?
It's okay. It's a go kind of environment because now we're at a point where we want to turn around the organization.
Right.
We are running a Come Home campaign. You guys are aware of that. So really, it's about being out there, but not just being out there for out there. It's about, look, when we deliver value, we communicate the value. We tell people when you come to Zamtel, this is what we're doing. This is how you fit in. This is how we're supporting the country. And we have been supporting a lot of things in terms of activities and whatnot that really add value to what we do. So for example, we had the marathon that we're partnered with ABSA. Just a few days ago, we were contributing to a young man that invented a smart stove. I don't know if you guys saw that. There's a young man that invented a smart stove. Brilliant guy from CBU, as a graduate of CBU. Okay,
great,
so we are supporting him along with ABSA and the Ministry of SMEs to make sure that comes to life. Because, like I said, we're doing a Come Home campaign. Even you, when you know visitors are coming home, you clean up, right? You want it to be a good environment. So what we want is for us to be responsible, sustainability-wise, in terms of our environment or whatnot. So initiatives like that support our environment, make us live longer. Because at the end of the day, what good is it if Zamtel has got very good products, but people are dying because of emissions and climate change and whatnot. So yeah, it's a lot, really. It's a lot, but it's getting done. We have a solid team.
Let me ask Elson's question this way as well. From the time you got into Zamtel, what have you done that us members of the public can see and say, all right, this has changed from the time Sui came in?
Most of the things are in process. Because remember, I only joined in June, right? And I'm told it takes 8 months for someone to begin seeing results. But I joined in June.
I mean, you're a young, energetic guy, so...
Yeah, but I'm only one person. You get the point, right?
Why should we wait for 8 months, though? To see the change.
No, I'm just giving you an example of the 8 months. So like right now, for example, we're running a campaign. We're rewarding teachers.
That's your idea.
Well, the idea doesn't matter who brought it. It's the organization.
No, but you're rewarding teachers how? So
we are looking for exceptional teachers and rewarding them. So if you know a teacher who did something exceptional.
Then how do you measure that?
So we have a scorecard. And that scorecard gives, for example, is this unusual? Is this something that adds value to learners? Is it something that, for example, is not your everyday kind of, because there's some things that teachers do which they're supposed to do because it's a job. You get a point, right? But remember, for example, that teacher that rescued a child who was being abused and whatnot. Remember that story? Yeah, that's not the teacher's business. But the fact that the teacher is that invested in the learner, for example. Because why we're rewarding teachers is because you can talk quality education all you want, but it's the teachers that deliver that quality education.
There's a teacher in your village, actually, in Isoka, who, when he knocks off, he's actually got a school at home where he gives free education to kids who
You
can't
should
afford.
nominate the teacher.
I think you should. He's actually given the award. Remember on Teachers' Day, they were giving one teacher per province, I think, for exceptional.
You should nominate. I can't nominate him because I work for Zamtel.
Nah, he's already gotten his stuff. We can nominate him twice. let him be humble. But so,
You did say you're a young guy. What's family like for you now? I mean, you've been married for like 5 years, and your firstborn is what, 2 years? 2 years old?
3.
3.
Yeah.
How many kids now?
No, just 1.
You've been lazy, huh?
No. I don't know. Like, people are different.
No, I'm just messing with you, bro.
People are different. There are others who believe, have them young. Then you have the kids and, others believe in growing with your children. Others have a career to push. Let me first, because there are some people who feel like a kid will mess up their life at the moment, where you're chasing a promotion, for example, and you feel like if I have a child, especially for women, the 9 months, the 3-4 months that you're on leave and whatnot, a lot will change. And yeah, so people feel like, let me do this. Others want to finish school first, I want to go get my degree, my MBA, my what, and I feel like a kid will, disturb that. And so for different reasons, people choose to have kids at different times. So, and there's no answer for that kind of question for, no, this is the reason, this is the one. Yeah, so that's just how it's been. That's just how it is.
And you did mention when you came in earlier, when I saw a photo of your child on your phone, you said, people don't even know this part of my life. I don't show.
I'm actually surprised you asked me that because I told you I don't talk about it, but you
Here we are.
Yeah, so... No, I don't talk about.
What's the logic behind that for you? I know others and the explanations.
For me, really, it's a need to know thing. Like, why should I, go on Facebook and talk about it? So that what, So that,
this guy's got a really cute baby, huh?
so
You should just see the photo, bro.
Not even on WhatsApp. Not even WhatsApp says they're going. No, if only my family, people who know me like from work, who know me. I tell my boss, my kids not feeling well, like that. But I feel like it's really it's not people's business, for example. You get the point, right? At no point, because you need to know. You get the point? So I come to you and I'll tell you about my kid because you need to know for this particular reason. If I go to Facebook and tell my 300,000 followers that I have a child, why am I telling them that?
I'll tell you why. One, and I don't know why it is important. One of the organizations in Zambia passed up a promotion on one guy because he was single for a guy that had a family.
Yes, I know that.
So you've got a beautiful family, creating this facade of having a happy family can advance your career.
So he was passed up for what? Promotion, right?
Promotion, yes.
Like I said, people who need to know that I have a kid will know. My employer obviously know because there's health insurance and whatnot, right? What point? I don't hide my kid from my employer. They know. They have the papers, the birth record, the what. They are my employers. They know because they need to know. Tomorrow I can't come and say, I come for you because my child is not feeling well. But you said you have no child.
Which child?
Yeah, what child? So they know because they need to know.
Right.
But a guy on the street, why should I be telling him today I post a photo, oh, we're having ice cream with my child. Today, why am I telling them that?
Yeah, I hear
so
you.
also for other people, again, it opens up your kids to bullying and whatnot. And you've seen that on social media. But no, why? But it's you who brought the child to Facebook. What do you expect? You get the point, right? Not to say the kid will be bullied, but really, I feel like I will tell you because you need to know. I'll come to you and say, I can't, my son's not feeling well. Your son also, I'm telling you because you need to know, our kids that are the same school together or like that. People who know me at the school know, people who are, or other parents at the school, they know I have a kid. They need to know because of that. But there are some things about your life that he knows, but you don't start talking about them on the podcast.
To everybody,
right?
yeah.
Exactly.
True.
Because, for example, a business deal. You tell him because, the value you bring to the deal, or you make it work. But what's the point of you talking about a business deal you're pushing with this company on the podcast?
Or on Facebook.
So that what? And then tomorrow they jinx it, then you start crying.
You had a podcast where it was you and your wife, right?
Yeah.
Why did you feel people needed to know that part of your life?
So the podcast with me and my wife is, number one, the reason they needed to know that was because at that particular point, I was talking about marriage. Okay? And I'm talking about having
But you can talk about marriage without her there.
And that's why they need to know. You get a point? Because I can't talk about marriage without her there. That makes sense. You get a point, right? So it's like someone who wants to brand themselves as a marriage counselor, and then you are coming out as a single guy.
Or a broke motivation speaker.
Exactly, motivational speaker. Because there was one time some guys at ZMBC were laughing and said, that guy, he comes to talk about, if you want to be rich, you must do these 10 things. So he talks on that morning show, Morning Live, he's done. Then the guy goes, jump on the bus, and then he goes. For you, you're moved, you're pressured, but but he won't talk about the bus on the show, right? Because it feels like you don't need to know that. Because if you know that, then... So really for me, at that particular point, talking about, our wedding, our anniversary, how we met and whatnot, for us, it was about content that is relevant to people who are married. So for you to identify with a married person, you must be married. Even you, if someone's going to counsel you about marriage, even at church, they must be married. Because even the Catholics, the priests don't do counseling because they find a mature couple who can relate to you. You get my point, right? So for me, that was the whole idea why she was there. The next time I talk about kids and whatnot, then I talk about... Because it's relevant at that particular point.
What does your wife do?
It's a need to know. Did I save you there, Sue?
Okay, let's say it's a need to know.
Yeah, it's a need to know.
Let's say it's a need to know,
Dude,
yeah.
I wanted to find this out. It's very... How much time do you have?
Yeah, maybe about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, cool. Can you honestly, truly hold your opinion on something? You've got a podcast. You express your opinions, your thoughts a lot more publicly than the average PR person from company X or company Y. Can you hold your true opinion and still keep employment?
Opinion about what?
Especially if it's unpopular. Doesn't matter.
So, if you do PR, you and the organization are linked. I cannot go and say, no, it's just, don't link me to, as long as...
Only when I'm in the office.
Yeah. As long as you are linked to that organization, anything you say, even your personal opinion, they say, no, the guy from... Because you see how, if anything unfortunate happens, right? Shanshan employee arrested. But I was arrested, I was in a fight.
As an individual. At a bar.
At a bar. You get a point?
At 9 p.m.
Off work. In fact, we're on industrial break. Okay? Or I'm on leave.
What does my company have to do with...
But they'll link you to
the company.
Because for them, they feel that's what sells the story.
It's a bigger brand, yeah.
Magnitude. Get a point, right? No, because look, I'll give you an example. 48-year-old man in bar fight. Headline, right? Bank Shanshan CEO in bar fight. Which paper are you going to buy?
Of course, the
bank CEO. That's what people feel off of.
So can you then truly be yourself? Or you now have to censor yourself?
Any person that does PR has to censor themselves. Because I'll give you an example, right? You guys can say whatever you want in the podcast. You are accountable to no one. You get my point, right? But for me, also, what I say is linked to my organization. Not just PR, but even the time I was at ZMB, I was a PR person there. But I knew what I could say, I knew what I can't say because I am linked to an organization. And everything that I say is linked to the guy from, that's what they believe there. That's what because it's sort of like that. Because even you find students, for example, whatever they do, it's 4 UNIDA students arrested for then now UNIDA's phone calls are ringing everywhere. But a guy who's not linked to any school will say anything. And that's why I always tell people that it's important for you to build a reputation because that's what protects you. Yeah. Even you can't, there are some things that you can't do because it may cost you somehow. But a guy with nothing to lose, because I once know he was in a bar fight, he was in a what? Oh, he was in that. You run a business, you got a radio station, you get the point, right? People will choose to do business based on the character of the owner. Because I think they say people don't just buy a product, they buy people.
Yeah.
So it's like, you see how, look at Greenwood, what happened based on Greenwood at Manchester United. No, he had 6 scandals, what he was let go. He's still a brilliant football player, right? But the brand does not want to be associated with that. Even whether he's been proved guilty or not, just the rumor, they separate. Because you can't unlink the two. And that's just how it is. Not to say that, no, I've got these controversial opinions. Not really. Anyone, I think, who's tied to an organization, really, it's worse off to CEOs and whatnot. Those ones, even where you drink, you can't be found in these places. There are some organizations where you can't be found. This particular person, you can't be found. You can't be, because they know about the reputational risks that are tied to that.
Yeah, no, good. How long have we been running now?
Don't worry.
3 hours.
Over an hour.
I
Yeah,
feel like
pretty much.
it's been over an hour. Yeah, but it's been a good conversation.
Do you see us as competition though?
No.
No?
The space in this country is too small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too small. And sometimes I tell people that the reason why you don't grow is because the people that you should be collaborating with, you want to compete.
You want to compete with.
Smart.
So instead of us sitting together here and learning from each other,
No, I just know
shy
that
away from you guys. But then when I think about, okay, who would be the best person to give me insight about a podcast? It's a guy who's running a podcast.
Exactly.
That's the best person to tell me, we tried this, it didn't work. That guest, be careful. That guy, you say you come, you won't come. So for me, really, it's
Like,
really
I can already imagine the comments when we just post that you're coming on the podcast next week. You know what I mean? Or whenever we post this, I can already imagine the comments. And I know a lot of people are going to bring that up.
Bring what?
I'm not saying it's going to be an issue. I'm just saying it's going to be.
No,
brought
to
up.
say he shouldn't be on it.
No. Just the issue of competitor and things like that.
No, I don't.
Did you see the maturity between BMW and Mercedes-Benz?
Yeah, when the CEO resigned,
Right,
retired.
you saw that?
Yeah.
In Zambia, that can't happen, bro.
Nah.
Wait, what happened?
So the chairman was CEO chairman
The
for
CEO of BMW.
Because
BMW.
Mercedes.
No, Mercedes, yeah.
Mercedes, yes.
When he retired,
On his last day of working, he retired. He said bye to everyone in the building. So there's a video, and then he leaves. So she jumps on the company car, Benz, obviously, takes him home. The driver says bye, all the best, and then the driver leaves. Then he opens his garage, jumps on a BMW, and then the BMW guy says free at last. Finally free to use whatever brand he feels like, and chooses BMW. So.
But was that him though, or they just like reenacted that?
No, it was him. It was actually him.
No, was it really?
Yeah, it was.
No.
Have you seen that photo where that BMW, the front part there, when you open the boot, that grill, isn't
The
that
grill, yeah.
So there was a picture where you can see that this is the BMW grill, but you can see Mercedes through it. Those kind of ads, they're very mature.
Yeah.
And the audience accept it. And that comes back to our earlier conversation about in Zambia, where you don't talk about this, you don't work because people are not really ready.
Yeah. But remember BMW and Benz have been at it for years. Like even in America, BMW put up a billboard, and 20 meters away, Benz will come and put up a bigger billboard.
Remember that beef with Absa and Zanaco?
Yes, same issue. That was mature.
And they put it down.
Yeah, but
So in Zambia, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
They put it down because people talked and whatnot.
The
But I hope you guys
anti-competition,
come to my masterclass. I'm having a masterclass on the 2nd of December. So I hope
What
you guys come.
masterclass is it?
Public speaking.
I'll come through.
Yeah, you should
I'll come
through
through.
on the 2nd of December at Mulungushi.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes guests don't come because they can't talk.
Because they
yeah,
can talk.
yeah.
Yeah.
So how does us attending your masterclass convince guests?
No, I'm giving an example that there are people who will not come through because there are some people who, I'll give you an example, right? There are some people that know things,
but they can't convey
but
it.
they can't convey it, right? So you find a guy who's good business acumen, built businesses, bring him here to talk about his business. You feel like, is this the one? Then another guy who just knows the theory. Get the point,
Who's the Savenda man again?
What's his name again? Mpoha.
Clever Mpoha.
Clever Mpoha.
I think Clever is one of those.
Yeah, so, but then you get a guy who just read about
Serious
business. You get the point,
billionaire,
eh?
but
He just read about it, read books, watch videos, then he comes and sit here. Talks about business. And
You know who
feel
that
like-
reminds me of? Is the dynamic between Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak.
Oh yeah, Steve Wozniak can't speak.
Steve
Exactly.
Wozniak couldn't speak, and so he was the tech guy.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know what Steve Wozniak looks like.
And most
He's
people,
50% owner of
And he's the ideas guy.
and his
Exactly.
ideas.
Because Steve Jobs was the marketer guy.
and most people are losing opportunities because they can't speak. Even just job interviews. You sit there, you've got you can't talk. Other people is just, even in a meeting, networking, go for an event. You can't even approach someone. And in Zambia, guys, have you guys experienced this? People know you. They know that's Elson, but they can't even come to you. Just say, and just goes quiet. Because Trevor knows the
I
same
actually
thing.
got that last night in the supermarket. You just
You
say,
got that?
K plus.
Yeah. That's what Trevor Noah was saying. He says in SA, in the US, when they see you, but in Zambia, I don't know if it's because of as a kulamutu, you get a point. Eh?
Yeah.
So just point. But other places, not just that, but just walking. For people, it's a headache just to walk to someone and start a conversation. It's a headache. You'll be on your phone the whole time. Or if you go the two of you, just talk the two of you, and there are people there who can change your life.
I was about to say the same thing. That is such a hindrance.
Yeah.
The fact that you cannot strike up a conversation for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So I feel like your masterclass is extremely key because you are in a room with somebody who could change your life.
Exactly.
But you get sweaty palms.
Yeah.
You do not know how to break ice. You don't know how to, you get what I mean? So yeah, I feel like it's extremely imperative. And that's the biggest difference between seeing an opportunity seizing it is being able to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Starting a conversation.
Yeah, it's true. Others jump on an elevator with someone you've been meaning to see.
And you start shivering.
And you shiver.
Peeing in your underpants.
Yeah. Oh, we may not go that far, obviously. But
Okay, yeah.
by the time you realize
They're
they're
too
getting
far,
out.
but
By the time
yeah.
you're constructing sentences in your head, they've left.
Yeah.
And then you say, no, my village people, what and what. But
Stop blaming ancestors who have nothing to do with it. Sui, thanks a lot for coming through, man. And Gob, I like how you used the green light for this Zamtel guy. That was super smart. Super smart.
that's the color of your SIM card. Yeah. No, but thank you very much for having me.
How was the experience? Was it what you thought it was going to
It
be?
was okay, but I agree with him. We dwelled too much on Zamtel. But the podcast was okay. And I feel like you guys actually have the capacity to have a more dynamic range of guests. But I feel like you're judged harshly based on your past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're so that those who just watch one episode, then they you get the
That's
point,
it.
right? But look, podcast is like a human being. You grow. You
Yeah.
grow with the depth of conversations and whatnot. Because like you said, the advertisers that you have had, obviously they've done the due diligence. And they feel like, oh, let's go. I mean, I don't think any company has collapsed because they advertised on the podcast.
Nah.
No, if anything, it's the inverse.
The inverse,
I run into every food market that I go. What's the white guy from the beer company?
The Wild Dog?
Wild Dog.
Yeah. Velton.
He tells me how every single time he runs into people that he was the first sponsor that we had.
Yeah, episode 2.
They remind him of our podcast.
That's
Yeah.
where they first saw it, yeah.
And those are the ones that to be honest, I like people who believe in me when I have nothing to give them.
Yeah, Velton actually hadn't even watched it before. He just said, you know what,
Wait,
I like podcast.
I forgot. There's a question that I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure now when you go to supermarkets or when you go out, people recognize you now. And people walk up to you for photos and whatnot. How have you adjusted to that?
So for me, it's been a transition, right? So when I was at NBC's, debate time, junior president, let's take a photo. Then it became about, I see you on Facebook. Then, the podcast, because now it's about the podcast a lot. In the beginning, you would not know how to respond and whatnot.
Right.
But now I'm used. Sometimes I can tell that those guys know me. They're just feeling shy. I'm the one that walks up to them. Hey, how are you? And they feel very happy because I've made their job easier.
I think I do that as well.
Because I feel it takes emotional intelligence. Because sometimes also, people think because they see you,
They know
you also
you.
see them.
Yeah, like you
But
know
they-
each
yes,
other.
like
yeah.
you know each other. So they feel like we've bumped eyes. So you come to me, what should I? You get a point, right? So when you then don't, then they feel like
he's rude,
like that. Yeah, he's rude and whatnot.
Yeah.
So for me, really, it's about identify. Oh, hi, how are you? Or start a conversation with them. There are people I've had conversations with and we've exchanged numbers, and you feel like we know each other, but we just met because they saw you like that. That's just how it's been.
Do you ever get people who say you sound different when they meet you in person?
Some people say you look different or you look taller. Or
I got that this morning. Two ladies
But my
that,
excuse is always change your TV
or your phone.
or your phone.
Stop using that. No brands mentioned. I was at Total filling station this morning, filling up. And the two ladies in the kiosk come out and they say, okay, plus. And then I start speaking to them and they're like, but your
sound
voice,
different.
your voice is so different.
Yeah.
Even Elson was here some days ago. And you guys, do you tune your voices?
Where was I?
Filling station in Ibex Hill. I'll show you. Yeah, you were saying?
Forget. I wanted to ask him something. Oh yeah, any favorite guest or episode that you've had on your podcast?
There was a Nigerian guy that came through. It was a good episode. Remember that guy? That guy was something else.
Which guy is this?
Dekunle Ogundipe. He's
does he do?
Nigerian.
Who's he?
He's a marketer. He was, I think, at Ipsos. You know Ipsos?
Yeah, I know Ipsos, yeah.
But he's also like entrepreneur at consultancy, what. Nigerian guy. He was deep. Like the things he mentioned. This cultural thing is in Zambia where people can start open a business at 8 hours. What. And he gave the perspective of how it is in Nigeria. Like, guys, Nigeria, class, you're like 3,000 in class, for example. For you to really, he said, for you to be good at anything, you must be, it's the extremes. There's no average.
Dude, it's like
It's the extremes. If you're going to do crime, you must do crime very well.
at the highest level.
At the highest level. You get the point? He says,
Hush puppy.
yeah, he says, look, if you go to those, I don't know, those different tribes in Nigeria, I don't know what tribe it was, Igbos, I don't know whatever I mentioned. At 03, you have hot rice at a restaurant. In Zambia, a business, 17 hours, they're closing the door. You want to walk in, Tavara.
You know, even the time I lived in Nakonde, right? At 05, I think I even posted this on our radio station page. At 05, no shop is open in Zambia. Immediately you cross the border into Tanzania, Tunduma.
Mayhem.
Busy, crazy mayhem at 05.
If for me it was bad, I was at the hospital at UTH. I come out, okay?
Yeah.
I come out because there are no medicine. So I was looking for medicine. None of those to my pharmacies out there was open.
And they're
That
all,
whole
they're all waiting for 8 a.m.
All of them waiting for 8 hours. And you're selling drugs, okay?
Which you can go 24/7.
Get a point. Which you can afford 24/7. None of them were open. And that was like 2023.
How do you think that people's mindset actually could shift? Because that's a very good point.
For me, I know the challenges that make it hard for businesses to operate 24/7 because also it's an issue of one, can you pay them enough? You get the point? Because people want to pay you for working 24/7 like you're working up 17 hours. You get the point, right? So there should be a difference if I'm working up to 5 p.m. and if I'm going to do shifts and whatnot, but others feel like, no, it's too much work, as in our costs have gone up and whatnot.
Right. Sorry to cut you off right there. Mexicans, Zimbabweans, I'm trying to think, are a group of people that are known for going beyond what they're supposed to, right? I mean, when you go to America, they would tell you that, no, if you hire a Mexican, even though like an American will say, oh, no, I'll only work from 9 until 5. This guy will say, I will leave here at midnight because they are willing to.
I'll give you an example. That same thought you mentioned. Do you know why there's a lot of xenophobia in SA? It's because a Zambian who's living in SA, right? At 17 hours is going to the boss and asking, boss, is there anything else I can do? South African guy, hey, me, I'm looking
That's
off.
my point.
So making me look bad. You get the point, right? So also, most of these things are driven by where the country comes from. I think these Rwandese guys, they know what the countries are like there when they go back.
Yeah.
Here is where the money is. Their blood and sweat will go into it. Here was so chilled, to be honest.
Hence my question, Suwilanji, that how do you change that mindset? So when you're saying, can I pay this guy? You will get a guy to say, boss, we've got stock taking to do. If I knock off here at 5, it will take us 3 days to do this. So I'm going to knock off at midnight. He's not asking for more money, but the mindset of that person is, let's get the job done. Do you get what I mean?
Yes. Changing a mindset is no easy task. I think we've had conversations, motivational speakers have died trying to change mindsets and they failed. The truth is, we have to try and kill the having too much fun. The level of investment we have in fun and playing, it's too much.
Yeah.
No one will complain about going 0-3 partying. You get the point, right? No one. Even people who are broke will find money for alcohol and they'll drink and they'll what. That level of effort and thought should go now into productivity.
How do you do
found that very
That
shocking.
is so true.
Should go into productivity. But then also for that, people have an excuse. There's no capital. There's no money. There's government. You get a point, right? To be honest, it's about supporting the next Zambian. And for me, that's how we do it. It's Kalenga has an idea for a podcast, okay? How can I support you? I want to volunteer on the podcast. Guys, I've noticed you guys have got 2 cameras. I've got 2 cameras. Let's put together. That level of enterprising we don't have. Because to be honest, even in Zambia, people are not willing even just to work for free. You've got kids that graduate university and they're not willing to show up for free. Oh, you've just graduated, you have a degree. Okay, we're looking for someone to clean. No, I don't want to clean. Why? But they're forgetting. And the thing I tell people is, those guys who work at the till in ShopRite, those guys who work at the till in Cheers, Pick and Pay and what? For me, those jobs are gold. Those guys who work at the airport, at the counter there, those jobs are gold, Kalenga. Those jobs are gold. Elson. Because there, you meet CEOs, you meet entrepreneurs. Venemikali will pass, this bank CEO will pass, this, name them. But what are you doing with that opportunity? Why? Because your mind is not wired for opportunities. Like an antenna. Get a point where, well, opportunities here. How can I leverage this? We don't think like that.
Well,
if you leave that, you go home, You go home and say, and it ends there. But if you are wired for, guys, I may never see this guy again. Your approach is different.
And the law of averages
exactly
should work in your favor.
And I wish we had started with this conversation. Part of what I think, when I spoke about changing the mindset, right? Part of what I think is extremely imperative, and I forgot who I spoke to about this. This should ideally start in school.
Yeah.
There is absolutely no reason why driving classes should not be introduced in high school. If anything, by the time that you leave high school, you should have a driver's license. Right? So,
even just passport, guys. How many Zambians have passport?
right.
We get when we are invited for
waiting
events.
People are waiting for, no, there's this now. Is that pushing for a passport? Guys, like he says, driving license. Driving. Those are skills that should be taught in school. People are losing opportunity because I can't drive.
You could qualify to become a driver the second that you leave high school.
And you know the beauty about driving license?
Can be a younger driver.
The beauty about a driving license is you can only have a car. But if you have a license for 3 years, I've been driving for 3 years. You know, that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
It's 3 years old, it's 3 years old.
That's it.
Because we're not wired for opportunities, we don't
a lot of these things being introduced in schools. There is a lot more plumbing,
you know,
all these
I
things.
saw a post. Someone was saying
And how we look down upon these jobs.
there was a post I saw at which jobs do people look down on by have a lot of money. Plumbing apparently came up very top, say?
That's my point.
There is money in plumbing, but people
Lots of money. You will always need a plumber. Why is that not being taught in schools?
Guys, look at how construction is on the rise in Chala Alai.
Everybody needs pipes laid.
Everywhere. Everyone needs that service.
You become an entrepreneur.
You need to lay the pipe.
I thought that was his thing. That was what?
He's worse than me.
No, I meant like a plumber, guys. Come on. You
So,
need to lay pipes
you
when
see,
the people
for
are
me-
constructing
for
buildings.
Me, it's those things. It's no one wants to be a bricklayer. Because in Zambia, you want a suit and a tie and an ID at the mall. And you look like you've arrived. You get the point, right?
Yeah.
And also, we really care about what the next person thinks.
Too
And
much.
people are
That's a
making
major problem,
decisions
yeah.
about their lives because what is Elson going to think?
100%.
What will people think? What will people say? Those words kill more
Exactly.
dreams than anything else, man.
I have a degree, and I tell people, guys, a degree is good. But if you're not careful, a degree can be the
downfall.
beginning of your
Could be your downfall, 100%.
Because one, you feel like your options are limited.
That's
I can't
it.
do this. I can't do that. Because why? The guy that you graduated with is a head of something in the bank. So me, I must be that. No, guys, who said the road to success goes through this direction?
No.
I can do it. Because look at the guys that, again, want to say, no, don't go to school. Yes, go to school, but be open-minded. Because the whole reason you go to school is so your mind can be open. You're more alive to possibilities, opportunities. But you go to school, you're done with your degree, and now you're more closed. I can't do plumber.
I can only be a bank
what you're saying is
manager.
There are
absolutely
guys
true.
making money
Yeah.
just fitting aluminium, fitting doors and
Right.
whatnot.
Where did they learn that? You know what I mean? And there is a name for those kinds of jobs. I forget what the actual name is. You know, your plumbing, like you were saying.
Maybe like odd job or something. I don't know.
No. There is an actual name for it. And why those cannot be introduced in schools where you're already paying fees anyway.
Or
If-
craft jobs? Maybe.
Or craft, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, we can call them that. But there's a particular word that I'm looking for. So I feel like, yeah, fine. If your passion is low, cool. But you know you're already qualified to become a plumber. You're already qualified to become an electrician. You're already qualified to do A, B, C, and D.
Out the gate.
So the government themselves are already creating employment.
But then also we must create a mindset for us to consume our own things. And that's what I was talking about Zamtel earlier. I'll give you an example. Have you seen those guys that do those furniture stuff at Hero Stadium? In what area is that? Kuja, Kupa Heroes, Kuja. Komandev.
Mandevu, yeah.
Have you seen the quality of couches those guys do? But you won't go and buy from them. That same couch, get it, put it in game, and they'll add 5,000 kwacha and you go and buy.
5.
Even more, maybe.
Dude. One of the furniture stores, I can't remember if it was Supreme or whatever. I remember because I used to live in Kitwe. Dude, I bought a sofa from them once. I think it was like 15,000 kwacha. I found the exact sofa in Chimwemwe in Kitwe and I asked them, guys, are you copying what Supreme is doing? They said, no,
"No, we
Supreme
made it."
buys from us. I'm like, how much are you selling yours? 4-5. I cursed.
How much was it in Supreme?
I bought it for 15.
You see?
They exactly. I opened the bag and I found sacks and the same. Dude, I was so upset,
What
man.
you're saying, Sui, is that campaign that Morsi ran when they launched Icon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know
Where you
about
brand it like a foreign thing.
Yeah.
And you see, for me, that is where the problem is.
And during the reveal, they just said, peel back the Icon label.
And see what you're drinking.
Do you know that campaign?
I saw that. I saw the whole thing. I saw the billboards and whatnot.
So this is the craziest. So they said we're introducing a new beer from South Africa called Icon. They put it in stores, branded Icon, flew off the shelves.
You should see how people
you
praise the taste.
Exactly.
And people
It's
ask-
the same thing.
Yes.
You get point. Guys, I'll give you an example. He's into IT and tech, right?
Yeah.
He's a local guy, what and what. He comes to pitch because it's a loan. Yeah, we sula him. Next, same guy comes, Same idea. He's got 2 guys from SA, a guy from Kenya, a guy from Dubai, who are also in the meeting. He'll get the deal. Why? Because we believe he's not good enough because he's a local guy. That is what we have to take away from ourselves, where we believe in our own thing. Have you seen how Nigerians push each other?
That is so true.
How many Nigerians are playing the Premier League? Nigerians in music. How many? Because
But then again, Suwi, you're the same person who raised this point earlier. You were talking about how when Nigerians do something, they will do it to the highest level. Half the time, us Zambians are so lazy to improve on what we are doing, and which is why people opt to buy the foreign thing. We need to improve on our productivity,
but you see,
our production, our
productivity
excellence.
is dependent on support.
Not necessarily. We need to change our mindsets and how we produce.
Let me qualify my point. Okay, let me qualify my point.
Yeah.
Me and Elson are doing the exact same business.
Right.
Okay? Because I am not supported, I don't have the money for me to improve my processes, my whatnot. Him, because his people support him and they buy from him. I'll give you an example, Nigerians. Look back. Nigerian movies. How were they 10, 15 years ago?
Trash, but they support.
They were funny, right? But you're supporting. Pumping money in. Nigerians are buying. Africa is buying. Those funny guys, those funny effects. We are supporting them.
We love to.
Now they have. No, listen.
Yeah.
Here's the story, right? They have more money. They're able to buy better cameras. They invest in a producer and they invest in training. And they take guys. Some of you guys are here. You take these guys to school. They go to the American film because Zambians are buying from you. They haven't given up on you, right?
You have a point. Yeah.
Your capacity is enhancing.
Yeah, you have a
but
point.
in Zambia, we've ruled you out completely. You've got no money. Any money you're counting on is you have to go and get financing, get a loan, what and what. So he's making money, but the majority of his money is going back to the bank because he's paying a loan. He's going back to the bank, he's paying a loan. I am making money from my sales. So I'm not paying back any loans, any Congole, what and what. I am making money from my sales. He's making money, but his money, because what's the interest rate at banks right now? SMEs don't even go there. Those rates, you would think, guys, I'm not doing drugs. 35% interest is too much. You get a point, right? So he's working for the loan. I am working organically. I'm growing because
Your people are growing you.
People are growing me.
Yeah, true.
But
no, you have a point.
remember
there.
that a small business will make mistakes. I'll go to this restaurant. I'll eat. I'll have a running stomach. I'll rule them out. I'll never. But some stores you go. No, it's just a mistake. They apologize or you forgive them and you go back. The whole idea is we need to create a habit of supporting our own.
Yeah, true.
And now that's why this debate of no music and whatnot.
So I'm kind of on the fence there, Suwilanji. Because more again, largely, I support you. I mentioned this so many times. The government is doing a lot to support Zambians, so entrepreneurs and everything. I spoke of an organization called the Zambia Credit Guarantee Scheme.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you know it, right?
Yeah.
Trying as much as possible to help people raise capital. If you've got a great business idea, but you need to get a loan from the bank and you're not able to, they step in, they help you. A foreigner comes in, wants to get a job. The company has to justify why they're bringing somebody from outside that a Zambian would most likely do. So the company has to go and justify the immigration why that is possible. Same thing even when you're opening up a company. A lot of the circumstances, you have to have a Zambian in the company. So there's like measures that I feel government is putting in place. But for as long as the people, the locals, are not taking advantage of it for whatever reason, it will just be opportunities.
For
that
me,
is
that's
just
the
there.
sad part.
Yeah.
That's the sad part. I'll tell you something. The budget in Zambia, does it trend?
No.
Kalenga, does the budget trend in Zambia?
Nah.
Can never trend.
But we know that.
But we
want
know
to see Ben Lombe.
Exactly.
But
You
we
get
know
point,
the car
right?
that your maps is driving.
Exactly
Yeah,
my
yeah,
point. You get a point, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a budget that government has presented, and there are all these incentives to help SMEs. You know that right now, cameras, all these things come in duty free.
Yeah.
Without paying. I was talking to the Commissioner General for ZRA, and he was telling me the biggest problem we have is the taxpayer is not very well educated because he has no interest. There are people getting arrested because they're smuggling things that are duty free. They're smuggling things in the country that are duty free because they don't understand. You get a point, right? It's happening. You're going to jail because you smuggled cameras. When you should just get those in for free. You get a point, right?
Did you just do that?
Because and all this is happening because people have no interest. No one reads the budget. The only thing you care about is no pay as you earn, and that's it. But government, CDF. How many young people even know how to apply for CDF?
Thank you. I said the same thing when we had the Minister of Justice. Do you remember?
Yeah.
How many people?
Not only that, Sui, do you know the Ministry of Youth and Sports?
Yeah.
They had, I said this story again on this here podcast. I don't know if that's still running or it ended. My assumption is it's ended. $45 million. That was earmarked for the youth. All you had to do, you write a business proposal that I need to sell toothpicks to restaurants. I'm buying the toothpicks from this place. They cost me X amount. I'm selling them to this restaurant at X amount. This is how much money I will make. And I need $1 million kwacha. When the money was being presented, it was at the government complex, right? And they held a ceremony. There were 100 companies there. And companies were being called to come and get their checks. And the minister then said, there are 100 companies that we gave money here to. Do you know how many companies applied? Take a guess. Out of the 100 that were given money.
Less than 10?
100.
All of them?
All of them. The highest was $1 million.
Wait. You mean everyone that applied got the money?
Got the money.
So the only way not to get the money if you didn't apply
was not to apply.
So there's nothing like, no, they got to work on that. So whether you know someone or not, you got the money.
You got the money. It got to a point where if you wrote a business proposal that was rubbish and didn't make sense, they called you in
to tune it.
Baba, this does not make sense. Can you please fix this?
And that's the thing. To be honest, in Zambia, I feel like we self-reject. We are wired to believe there are people already. So those 100 people that are giving money, no, and people are getting left behind because you don't make the basic effort. Guys, just do a business plan, submit. Because guys, government doesn't just throw money at people. You get the point? You must, to be honest, I would rather give money to someone who's made an effort. Or, like you said, your plan is rubbish, but calm down. Here are technocrats, they'll help you. That's
so true. Some of them, I'll tell you, like this one company that they were into honey processing. They were asking for $1.5 million. They broke down exactly where the $1.5 million was going. And they were asked, when we give you $1.5 million, where's this going? Where's that going? Where's this going? $1 million was going into purchasing equipment and 500,000 was running capital. You know what they said? We'll buy the equipment for you, bring it in duty free. So we'll give you the 500,000 for running capital. Give us the company in China where you're buying this. We'll buy it, we'll ship it, we'll bring it in. And they did that.
Damn.
I feel like you guys need to have such conversation on your podcast because, to be honest, I feel like there's a lot that happens and things go over people's heads.
Yeah.
Opportunities that are meant for you. It's meant for you, meant for Zambians and whatnot. And you only react by saying, when did they advertise?
They just advertise their relatives.
How many Zambians follow government ministries on Facebook?
Thank you.
How many Zambians follow Ministry of Health has got like the most followers on Facebook. And you know why? Because of COVID. People follow because of COVID, don't we hear updates and whatnot. That's it.
Let me tell you something. Kandeke, he made a post on Facebook where he wrote this inspirational quote. Did you see it? People had the time to go and search where he found that quote. And they did a split image of where he took it to his post. You have got
the time,
you've got the intellect,
the energy,
you've got the money, you've got the energy to go and research that. But you are telling me that you do not have all those resources just to go in and research how to make your life better?
You guys, dude, ZPPA advertisers deals every day. I receive over 5 to 10 emails every day. I managed to clinch one 2 weeks ago.
How many young entrepreneurs are on the EGP system?
Right now as we're speaking, I'm getting emails from the EGP system. Sorry,
you see,
right now as we're speaking.
And there's where the problem is. Young people believe tenders are for those.
I also thought it was for those.
Look at that, Suwilanji. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Dude,
This is EGP.
I thought it
Email.
was. I thought it was for those people you're talking about. Until I tried one day. Remember I told you about a deal that I got recently.
Yeah, you did.
I responded to the email. I thought I wasn't gonna get it.
And you got it.
I got it.
And there was a guy there was a gig for, I think, media, some organization wanted a gig like that.
Yeah.
And they put it out there. And this guy got the gig. Okay, he did a bad job, obviously, but he got the gig. And people were like, no, you know someone. No. He just try and follow the process before you judge it. You get the point? Eh?
Yeah.
And goes back to what I was saying earlier, that people are judging things they've never even tried. Have you ever applied on EGP and they rejected you? How long have you been there? I'm not even there. Guys, simple things. Sometimes I feel like preparation. Like, don't be the excuse, right? Do everything. Let it pass you because of them, not because of you.
Exactly.
Do you have papers? You're running a business. Do you have PACRA? Do you have this certificate? Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have ZRA? Do you have what? Are you on EGP? Because I don't believe you can be on EGP and the whole year passes, you got nothing.
No.
It's not possible.
No.
It's not possible.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. And most people are just sitting there, not just, and we're good at complaining.
We are amazing at complaining.
We're good at complaining.
Zambia
But then
thing.
also we just don't have this appetite for productive things.
Yep.
And I can challenge you guys, bring Minister of Finance here, talk about the budget. And then let's see your views.
10 views.
You get the point, right? But those same guys are the ones that will benefit from his explanation, because right now, I know, for example, they've removed these import duties on electric cars and whatnot. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, electric cars, electric trucks, everything. There's no duty on those things. You just bring them in duty free.
We had no idea.
Okay, but people don't know. They were no interest. You get the point,
You
right?
just drove a Tesla in Australia.
I actually want to buy a Tesla. That's why I did this.
Yeah, so just bring it in duty free. Nothing, as long as electric, nothing. A lot of things, farming equipment, what and what, but people don't. In Zambia right now, dude, you say, it's just now. If you start farming, Karenga Vutik. I was laughing with Galamkani the late, and he said, in Zambia, just go, it's hot, right? It's hot. Go at your house, on the gate, put freezes for sale. But you're making money. It's a season. That is what is trending in the season.
Yeah.
These guys who are laughing are eating freezes.
Yep, that is also
They're
true.
going to buy, but they're laughing. And you want to go because, I'm going to vote.
I honestly, that's why I said, I wish we had this conversation at the beginning, because I really wish we have more of these conversations. When you look at, how old are you?
Just over 30.
Okay. When you look at the average,
on Saturday.
when you look at the average 30-year-old,
Mine is next week Saturday.
when you look at the average 30-year-old, and I know there's opportunities in a different country, they are at a totally different level. I feel we honestly do waste our time. We waste our resources on the wrong things. We're on social media. We're chasing gossip. We are in disciplinary committees. Whereas we honestly really could do a lot better. I have got the same 24 hours as
Jay-Z and
Mark
Beyonce.
Zuckerberg, for example, or whoever else it is. They don't have 26 or 29 hours. I have the same 24 hours. But what I do with that time, how much time I spend on social media compared to how much time I would spend doing something that is productive. Yeah. So if there's anything that I feel I and Kalenga could change using these microphones, is the person who started watching us from the beginning. Are there things that they can take away from the podcast that could help better their lives? And this is why I am happy to keep repeating the Zambia Credit Guarantee Scheme. They're not paying me anything, but Google that, see what exactly you're able to do. They'll tell you, go to one of two banks I think they're working with, Zanaco and ZICB. Run through the loan process. And when it comes to, do you have a house or security? That's when these guys then kick in. But you have to do the work.
No, you have to. But have you noticed that the majority of things we waste our time on actually never expire?
They don't.
Drinking was there 100 years ago. It's still there now. In fact, the alcohol is just better. It'll be better with
same
time.
thing.
Everything else has got no time. But the productive things, there's a period.
It's limited.
It's limited. Eh? The productive thing is limited. When you're young, you've got the energy to work and invest time. At a certain age, it wanes. But at a certain age, you can still drink. You can still, now just drink at home or you like that. But the things really that matter, we've got a very limited time.
That is so true.
And we're wasting it on these things that will always be there. So
we are older a lot more than we are younger. You know what I mean? And so if we are to take advantage of the time that we have to work. Now, my dad always used to tell me, from when you are in your maybe mid to late 20s to maybe when you're in your 40s is the time that you essentially have to build whatever it is that you're going to maintain or that is going to carry you for the rest of your life. And this is primarily why we have got a breed of old people that feel their kids owe them something. It's those people that were lazy. It's those people that now, because they're older, they used to sleep 9 hours in a day and they have got nothing to show for it. So if there's anything that I really wish we would shift, we would change, would be the mindset that Chicago's will always be there. DeCapo will always be there. Whatever it is that you feel you want to put a lot of your effort now, it's always going to be there.
Yeah, it's true. And it starts with platforms like yours, because
Just
the
like
thing
that.
I've
And yours.
come to learn really is we yield so much power. The media on its own yields so much power. But platforms like yours and mine, the kind of power we have, because now you begin to shape conversations. You get the point, right? You
Right.
shape conversations in this direction.
Right.
And it's about how do we use these platforms now to build these conversations, have these things. And also we have to bring out the light. And for me, that's why my podcast, I tell people, guys, I don't bring someone because it's famous. I bring someone because you can learn something from them. Fame doesn't make you wise or doesn't make me more. No, the people who, you've never seen them, but when they talk, like the same Nigerian guy, no one knows him, but with the quality of conversation you have is different. And for me, really, I feel like you guys, you're on the right path.
Sui, thanks a lot for coming through, bro. It's been so much
Thanks a lot,
value
Ken.
has been
Yeah.
obtained from this episode, man. Like,
Yeah.
really deep conversation. I think our longest episode this year.
No, is it,
If
how,
not
long, how long is
ever.
that? Sit back.
2 hours 20.
2020, yeah, just.
No, has it really been 20?
Yeah.
Wow. They
Yeah,
are definitely,
I'm
hands
looking
down,
at-
the
I'm looking
longest.
Yeah, hands down the
looking
longest
at my time.
episode. But I think
I don't
one
know
of
if
the
we
most
should we cut this in two, or you think people have got enough attention span? Nah, let's let it.
I'll let you.
Yeah,
I'll let you cut
one
out.
episode would be good. I mean,
Yeah.
some podcasts run for way longer than this.
dude. The Kanye West episode with Joe Rogan. 4 hours
and this was
50.
pretty engaging as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, really, it's about, at the end of the day, it's about, okay, we've had a conversation, but you have someone out there thinking twice about their life. You get the point, right? Thinking twice about their decisions. Not, because to be honest, at some point, you have fun, you have what, but when you sit alone and you begin to reflect on your life, you're going to say, okay, but
You're not gonna be happy.
yeah. To be honest, when you're out there in the crowd, like,
You are.
but when you just
Bruh.
sit down and you look at your life and say, am I going to continue on this path?
This
And
is-
the honest, but also, you know, I think you can lie to others.
We're not going home today.
You can lie to others, but you can't lie to
You
yourself.
can't lie to yourself.
You can't lie to
This
yourself.
is how you find yourself avoiding mirrors.
Yeah, it's true.
Right? You cannot stand to.
Elson, let's roll. To the next episode, remember to click on subscribe, and also you can catch this podcast, the Growth
Wait,
Podcast on
did we
YouTube.
give a shout out to our sponsors? We didn't, did we? Oh, where
stop?
we are shooting from?
We'll do that.
So
go
this is-
go write something on the screen.
Yeah, no, we can do it now, and then it can go to the beginning. So we are shooting from Pebbleview Apartments.
Pebbleview.
Pebble.
That's what I said, Pebbleview.
Is it one of those where they told you to say it wrong, the pronunciation?
No.
You know what I mean?
In Woodlands. And big shout out to two of our biggest sponsors,
Right Price and Bet Lion.
and Bet Lion. And I was right, by the way. I predicted what the score was going to be between
You should have put
South
money on
Africa.
it. Look at you.
I did actually.
How much?
I put in 500,
And you won how much?
1,000.
Oh, look at you, profit.
Yeah, I got gas money. If we had the strip club that they allegedly threatened to open, I would have been making it rain in the strip club.
To the next episode, have a lovely day.
Dun 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 dun